Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
All right, we'll go on the record. This is in the District Court of Butler County, Kansas. Case is entitled in the matter of Jared Dennis Poole, petitioner, and Sierra Shante Cray, respondent, case number 24 DM 335. The petitioner appears with counsel Aaron Bruns. The respondent appears in person pro se. All parties are appearing by Zoom. We last appeared on February 20th of this year. At that time, Mr. Bruns was going to send a proposed settlement offer to Ms. Cray. We set it over for today. Ms. Cray also indicated she was going to be looking for an attorney. I've seen some email communications that have come through the court, which would seem to indicate that the parties have not been able to reach any sort of agreements. Mr. Bruns, what's the status of the case at this point?
That's correct, Your Honor. We did prepare a proposed resolution and send that over to Ms. Cray. She responded, but only to say that she wasn't interested in negotiating. I haven't seen that she's retained an attorney yet. So at this point, I think we probably need a trial setting, and Ms. Cray didn't indicate what it was that she found objectionable about the settlement offer. So I have to assume that everything is on the table.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bruns. And Ms. Cray, what is your position on the status of the case at this point? You'll need to unmute.
Okay, I would like it to proceed to trial.
Okay, what issues are in dispute at this point?
Mr. Pohl, like us, September 4th, took my children and they were enrolled in school, and he took them to his residence and refused to give the kids back to me.
All right, so custody is at issue.
Custody.
What about division of assets and debts?
As far as that, there was a police report in 2022 that I filed because when I left the home, I didn't really get much back. The police report stated that there was not any division of marital asset. He refused to let me use the marital van, stating that it was his property. Most of my property was destroyed or sold.
Are there outstanding debts that haven't been divided or outstanding assets that have not been divided that are in dispute?
Not through like any kind of legal way.
The proposed position on those, Your Honor, is that everything marital as far as asset and debt has already been divided.
All right, and then I think one of the emails indicated that child support, maybe DCF is involved. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of any DCF involvement.
All right, so there's been no case, Mr. Bruns, that you're aware of where DCF is coming after your client for child support?
Are you aware of anything like that, Mr. Pohl?
I received a process served from Reno County several years ago. I haven't answered back yet until today.
I'm not, you're cutting in and out, Mr. Pohl. I'm unable to hear anything.
I did get something from Reno County DCF about child support.
I can't, Mr. Pohl, your audio is cutting out. I can't. What county did you say?
He said Reno, Your Honor, and then Mr. Pohl, if you have your phone on speaker, if you would try turning speaker off and then talking to us, that might help.
All right, well, it sounds like we're gonna have to sort through all of the issues at trial. Mr. Bruns, is there discovery that still needs to be done?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
All right, have you all exchanged employment pay stub information for purposes of child support?
Let's see, we have DRAs, Your Honor. I don't believe I've received anything from respondent as far as pay stubs or anything like that, but I think my understanding is that she's unemployed.
And where does your client work, Mr. Bruns?
Let's see. He works for the United States Postal Service, Your Honor.
Ms. Cray, are you currently employed?
No.
All right. Well, Mr. Bruns, you'll need to provide Ms. Cray with income information for Mr. Pohl for purposes of calculating a child support worksheet. I'm just going to go ahead and set a trial date.
Can I
Mr.
have a
Bruns,
comment about the previous child support order from DCF?
go ahead.
I did send an email to Angela Cool with the number to I did talk to the child support enforcement, and I gave the number because they didn't have the case because he is to be served. So they were going to talk to the attorney, and I gave the number that was given to Angela was the number that they said to call so they could get an update on that.
Yeah, well, that's not something, we're not going to call them. I mean, that's something that will have to be brought before us. If
Okay.
there's an existing child support case, then somebody's going to have to provide that as part of the case. I'm going to go ahead and set a trial date. Mr. Bruns, how much time do you need to be ready for trial?
I think 2 months should be sufficient, Your Honor.
And Ms. Cray, how much time do you need to prepare for trial?
Probably about the same.
All right, Angela, let's try to find a date, and it's going to be an in-person trial here in El Dorado at the courthouse.
Judge, I have June 4th at 9 o'clock.
June 4th, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That works for me, Your Honor.
And Ms. Cray, does that work for you?
Yes.
All right, we need to establish some dates also for discovery, cutoff, exchange of exhibits, and so forth. And I'm going to establish May 30th by 5 p.m. The parties will need to exchange exhibits with one another. And you also need to provide a copy to the court by that time. And if you have more than 10 pages of exhibits, those will need to be put in an exhibit notebook and provided to the court. If you have less than 10 pages of exhibits, you can just email those to us. And then those notebooks will need to be delivered to the courthouse by 5 o'clock on May the 30th. And Mr. Bruns, do you have the contact information for Ms. Cray to be able to get her the exhibits?
I do, Your Honor. When I'm sending exhibits to the court, how do you prefer that we send to those if we're not doing the notebook?
You could, if there's less than 10 pages of exhibits, those can be emailed to Angela.
Okay.
If you have more than 10 pages, those will need to be put in an exhibit notebook and delivered here to the courthouse. And Mr. Bruns, where does Ms. Cray need to submit her exhibits to you. Do you have an address on your correspondence that you've been?
I do. She's been able to email me, Your Honor, so if she wants to email her exhibits to that same email address, that would be fine.
Okay. And you have Mr. Bruns's email, obviously, Ms. Cray?
Yes.
Okay. I'd also like to have some sort of a pretrial order or pretrial questionnaires from each party to lay out what the issues are going to be. So if you're, something tells me you all aren't going to be able to agree on a pretrial order. If you are, that's great. I would encourage you to do so. If not, I'd like each of you to submit a pretrial questionnaire by that May 30th date as well.
Yeah, Your Honor, is your assistant Miss Angela Cox or Miss Angela Milligan?
Angela Cool.
Angela Cool.
And I believe she's been communicating with you by email.
Yeah, I'm trying to find an email from her address.
And either party, if you're communicating directly with the court, if you'll include the other party's email as on the email, so everybody's involved in the conversation. Otherwise, it's not appropriate.
Yes, sir.
Have ex parte communication. So make sure any email you send us has the opposing party on the email.
There we go. Thank you, Miss Cool.
All right, Mr. Bruns, can you think of any other issues or deadlines that need to be established at this time?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. Cray, can you?
No, what, the only question I have is when he said that there was, what does that mean with the property division that's already been done?
I think it's his or the belief of his client that the property's already been divided. I don't know if that's true or not. That's something we'll have to sort out at the time of
Okay.
trial.
Okay,
And Ms. Cray, are you still attempting to hire counsel?
yes,
Okay, I would encourage you to do so, if you can, but you're more than, you can represent yourself if you're unable to hire counsel.
okay.
All right, Angela, did you have something else to add?
I was just gonna let Mr. Bruns know that I put in the chat my email.
I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, well, if you all have any questions in the meantime, be sure to communicate with us. Otherwise, we'll look forward to receiving all the exhibits and pretrial questionnaires or pretrial order by May 30th and then trial on June the 4th. So,
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
all right, if there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Everyone have a good day.
Thank you.